included in paying our picture of Lincoln, and it's like maybe because those voices were silenced, not seen as important in portraying Lincoln, but maybe like it's not like a fair assessment of who he is. It's not accurate because you have all these things missing.
And that's really interesting because that was going to be potentially my last point before we dig into our core text, and that's why were those voices missing? Why is it that they're not present? Were they not relevant? Were they just not there at the time? Were these people, are their perspectives just not valued? Do we not have Latino historians? Why isn't the perspective there? And it makes you wonder. Even though you gathered all these perspectives, to Dimitri's point, there's still something missing, right? We don't have a full perspective. And to Uli's earlier point, it's not for us to decide, right? Because we've only got the facts in front of us. But one thing we can do is make up our minds. What do we think? How do we feel? How do we respond to this? What do we believe? How do we make sense of it? And with that, we're going to dig into our core text for the day, and we're going to be reading the Gettysburg Address. And I think you guys can almost kind of sort of guess what this is going to be about. So Abraham Lincoln is standing in front of a crowd of soldiers, and he's in a cemetery in Pennsylvania, and it was the site of one of the bloodiest wars, one of the bloodiest battles in the Civil War. And he's basically just dedicating the cemetery. And he's standing there, and he's talking about a ton of stuff. And that ton of stuff he talks about ends up being really important, which is one of the reasons why we're talking about this speech today. And what I want us to do right now, before we even dig into the text, is start thinking about who Lincoln is, what he's talking about, so that you can make sense of it. Make tons of connections. You're coming in with not only your own personal experiences of stories you've heard in your life, but also what we just read, okay? We're going to do 3 things during this text, okay? Before we dig in, we're going to restate the paragraph in our own words as we read the first paragraph. So as you're reading with me, start doing that in your own head. Then we're going to look at what words and phrases are actually telling me about the message of this speech, right? And keep everything together. Perspectives, what's coming in, what's not coming in, what's present, what's missing. And then finally, what message is Lincoln sending through the first paragraph of his speech? Okay? So that's what we're going to do as we dig into the reading for today. All right. Gettysburg Address. Everybody's got that text. Let's turn to it. All right. The Gettysburg Address, we got it in quotes because it's a speech. All right. So 7 years ago. So that's 87 years. Our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation conceived or dreamed up in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition or idea that all men are created equal. Boom. I drop it just like that. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn and talk to your partners. What's coming through, right? What's the main idea that he's trying to send through? What words and phrases are resonating with you? What message is he sending? Don't look at this in isolation. Think about what you've read and what you know. Make sense of it. All right, ready, set, go. 2 minutes. Yeah.